there's something about the lights, sights, and sounds of casinos that spark human interest, generate excitement, and the lure of the thrill. State-regulated and tribal gaming is expanding at an exponential rate. Millions of people each year flock to these venues, hoping luck finds them. For the gaming industry, it means billions of dollars in profit each year. They rely on workers with a unique set of skills to keep their businesses running.
Well, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. Most of my friends, a lot of people's parents were in the casino business. Within a year of Circus, I got a job at Caesar's Palace, which was great. I was the youngest dealer at the time hired, so I was very lucky.
Dealers, servers, machinists, and security personnel are unfortunately not so lucky when it comes to having a healthy working environment. Casinos can offer workers a decent occupation, except for one grave exception: the tobacco smoke. Gaming industry workers typically suffer the highest occupational exposure to secondhand smoke, putting them at greater risk for lung and heart disease and DNA damage.
When I started Caesars, I was a very young woman, very athletic. I used to run mini marathons, and I was an avid softball player. I can hardly run around the block now. I have chronic bronchitis, asthma, respiratory problems, and I have to be on permanent medication. I take 2 inhalers a day, and I get sick with bronchitis at least twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. All of the smoke comes into your face constantly. The people blow it in your face. If they're on the dice tables and they're smoking, it comes into your face. You cannot breathe. And we're dying. We're dying, we're dying, we're dying. We're sick. We didn't know that it caused that much harm to our health, the smoking. Now they know. Now they know. So what's the value of our lives?
We used to have a badge at Caesar's Palace. We wore a button for every different occasion, and we had a little button on our shirt. Every day you take that button off and put on a fresh shirt, and there was soot around the button. So one day I went, oh my God, that is what I'm breathing every day. Would be a circle where the button is, that was on my clothes, so what was inside my body. So I was very aware of the dangers of smoking and wondering why people were allowed to do that all day long because of my job.
The evidence about secondhand smoke is clear. There is no safe level. Long-term exposure to secondhand smoke causes heart disease, asthma, lung cancer, and other diseases. Short-term exposure also is dangerous. Less than 2 hours of exposure in a smoky casino can impair the heart's ability to pump blood, putting casino workers and patrons at increased risk of disease.
Now that we've become educated and we know the damage it causes, we're sat in this environment that we can't escape from. People in Congress don't have to put up with smoke. My CEO doesn't have to put up with the smoke. I don't know why I have to put up with the smoke. Everybody says, well, you got into this business knowing that. When I got into this business, I didn't realize that secondhand smoke was so bad for me. Now I do, I think it should be changed.
It's human rights. Anytime there's human suffering that's caused by the hands of other human beings, it has to be stopped. And that's the bottom line. We are suffering, and we're getting sick, and we're dying of cancer and other diseases like heart disease. And sometimes people say, oh, you got to die of something. But I don't want to go that way. You know, it's a horrible death. And sometimes it's not even about dying. It's about how miserable it makes you while you're there and breathing it.
States nationwide have enacted laws to make their gaming venues 100% smoke-free. Some tribal casinos have gone smoke-free to protect both their workers and their patrons. The tide is shifting slowly. But change cannot come soon enough for current casino workers, and it is entirely too late for others.
You know, I've been in the business for so long at that point, I just couldn't up and leave. I mean, I still had my bills to pay and a family, so I stuck with it. And in 2006, I was not feeling good. I had a lump on my neck, and I kept getting tests done. Nobody could find anything. After several months of tests, they finally did a biopsy. And on September 18th, 2007, I got a call from the doctor, and they told me to come in. He had something to tell me. And I went in to see him. And at that time, he told me I had cancer. I have never smoked a day in my life, but in the casino business, that's what you put up with. That's the worst thing about it. So as I began to learn about it, I began to think, well, how unfair is this? All I wanted was the same consideration that management had, and that their secretaries had, and that every other office building in the city has.
While most of the working public is protected, casino workers have been consistently left behind. That may be changing. More and more cities, states, and tribal nations are taking a stand to protect the health of casino workers.
We have a lot to do. There are still people who feel like they deserve it because it's their job and that's what they bought in for. Mindset is finally changing on that, and people are realizing, no, because you have a certain job doesn't mean that people are allowed to poison you.
Advocates nationwide are rising up to get the smoke out of casinos, whether by passing strong smoke-free laws or pursuing legal challenges. Their mission is to protect the health of casino workers and patrons. It is no longer a question of if they will succeed, but a question of when.